Hello, everyone. My name is Martin Williams. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Guided Expressions podcast. And I wanted to, of course, welcome you and also share with you some things that are coming up. I am doing the Blueprint course live. The first edition of the Blueprint course is going to be a beta. It's going to be live. It's going to be delivered over Zoom. And I'm very excited about the potential of the course. I'm excited about reaching so many people, not just around the country, but around the world. And that course will be delivered tentatively on July 15th. If you haven't signed up, please do at guidedexpressions.com. You can also sign up at my Teachable page, and I'll put that link in the description box. And I will offer this course at a one-time beta rate, so people can jump in, and there's no trepidation as far as can I make this investment or not. It's worth the investment, trust me. And I truly believe that this course is going to help a lot of people. This course is designed to help you get what you want to get by setting up a blueprint. Just like if you want to build a house, build a shed, build anything, you need instructions, you need a blueprint, and this is the course that helps you do that. So I'm very excited to share that with you. Today's podcast, Today's podcast is on practicing extreme appreciation, and I'm going to go a couple of different places. I might jump around a little bit, but the core message, the thrust of the podcast, if you will, is extreme appreciation. I discovered Abraham Hicks a long time ago. When I was actually going through a really difficult time in my personal life. It was my first marriage, and I was unfulfilled in a lot of different ways. I was unfulfilled in my marriage, but I was also unfulfilled in my career. I was working a job that I was really overqualified for. I wasn't doing what I wanted to do. I wasn't doing what I felt like I was able to do. And I just, I just spent a lot of time searching. And one of the things that I came across were the Abraham Hicks books. Now, as a Christian, it may seem like the Abraham Hicks teachings aren't really in line with what the Bible teaches, but there's a lot more similarities than people think. And I'm a firm believer that you don't have to subscribe to 100% of what anyone says. And that includes a lot of Christian pastors. I mean, there are people who preach that, I like some of what they say, but I don't necessarily think everything they say is valid. I think a lot of times what we end up saying is, or what we end up speaking about is a mixture of, what we were taught and then also our beliefs. And I think a lot of times people's beliefs get mixed in what they teach. Anyway, I don't want to get too far off in that. The Abraham Hicks teachings, for those that are unfamiliar with it, they basically believe that appreciation is the key to having a better life. And in appreciation, the mechanics of it is raising your vibration, right? So raising your vibration to a level where you're happy no matter what. Like you feel great no matter what. And even though your facts may not line up with that, there is something about living at a certain level of vibration. You could say it like this. If you look at a department store, right? I know some of you younger people, don't really go to department stores anymore. But if you look at a department store, right, you have on the first floor you have perfume, and you have women's clothes, and on the second floor you have men's clothes, you got kids' clothes, and then on the third floor you have appliances and furniture and things like that. So if you want furniture, you're not going to hang out on the first floor, right? If you want to buy a chair or buy a table, you're not going to go on the first floor. You're going to go on the third floor. And if you're going to buy perfume, you're not going to hang out on the third floor. You're going to hang out on the first floor. Okay? Vibration is a lot like that, right? At the lower levels of vibration, there's things like sickness, things like lack, bad things happening, things like that. And, bad things can happen to anybody. But if you spend most of your time on those lower levels, you tend to experience more of that. And I've found that to be true in my life. When I've been down, or maybe not in the best mood, complaining a lot, bickering a lot, cranky a lot, those are the sorts of things that tend to happen. I tend to not feel well. I tend to not have enough resources for the things I want to do. Things don't really go the way I like them to go. Things that shouldn't have taken such a long time seem to take a long time, so on and so forth, right? But when I'm in appreciation, when I'm feeling great, when I'm saying, oh man, life is awesome, things are really going good for me, it seems like in time things just flow. It's like you enter a state of flow. Instead of trying to make things happen, it just seems like things are happening by themselves. So, there's a lot of truth to what Abraham Hicks teaches. And, what I've learned is that, again, everyone can teach you something, even if that person is not right about everything. They can teach you some things, and I think it's having discernment and understanding, okay, what can I learn from this? What can I pick up from this that will help me in my life? I believe that God sends out deposits of happiness, deposits of good each and every day. It's just that people don't get it. People don't receive the deposits. And they don't receive the deposits because A, they're not looking for them, or B, they move away from where the deposits might be. So let me explain. If people send mail to your house, but you move and you don't leave a forwarding address, okay, that mail is usually going to get sent back, right? So even though it's yours, even though it belongs to you, even though it's your letter, if you're not in position to receive it, you're not going to receive it. And in the same way, I believe that God sends good out to everyone each and every day, but people aren't always in a position to receive it because of their dominant mental attitude, right? Your dominant mental attitude, if it's one of complaining, if it's one of unhappiness, if you're bitter about something, if you're unhappy about something, you're not going to get all of what God has for you because you're out of position. You're always upset. Like you're always in a foul mood. You're always complaining about something. I want you to understand that no matter how bad your life is, there's someone in the world who would love to have your life. I know that seems impossible to believe for some people, but someone somewhere would love to have your life. They would love to have the children that constantly get on your nerves. They would love to have the spouse or the partner that you have now. They would love to have the job that you can't stand right now. They would love to have the level of abundance that you are living in right now, even though you feel like it's nowhere near enough. They would love to have the level of abundance that you're experiencing. They'd love to have it. They'd love to have the level of stability that you have right now. So it's important that we have context. There's nothing wrong with desiring more, but it's important that we have context as to where we are. And it's important that we have perspective that, especially those of us that live in the States, we live better than most of the people in the rest of the world on a strictly financial level. We live better than most people. We simply do. And it's important that we balance out our desire for more with a level of appreciation and a level of gratitude. And I know a lot of people do gratitude exercises in the morning. I do gratitude and appreciation exercises, and that's good. But I think it's even more advantageous to live in a lifestyle of appreciation and a lifestyle of gratitude, almost practicing extreme gratitude. What do I mean by extreme gratitude or extreme appreciation? Just taking notice of the little things, and instead of saying, oh, that's a tree over there, look at that tree, right? Looking at that tree and then just really getting lost in the wonder of the tree. Like, how amazing is that tree, right? How amazing is it that this tree, is able to weather all kinds of storms, all kinds of weather, all kinds of conditions. How amazing is this tree that it can provide food for animals, and in some parts of the world provide food for us. And how amazing is this tree that it gets nutrients from the ground, and that it produces oxygen for us as well. Produces a way for us to breathe and live. This getting lost in things that you see. And if you don't know all that stuff, looking it up. Just going to Google and looking up trees, and looking up clouds, and looking up airplanes and cars, and everything that went into making those things, so that we could not only use them but enjoy them. Practicing extreme appreciation is such a beautiful technique because it's free of charge. It doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't cost you anything to appreciate more things. And the payoff is so huge. When you are in appreciation, constant appreciation, you have a way of, really just living at such a higher level than you're currently living. And, excuse me, sorry, you live at such a higher level of appreciation that, the things that you really are desiring, the things that you really do want, they have a way of just flowing to you so much easier because you're on the right floor, right? You're much more likely to see a chair on the third floor than you are the first floor. And in the same way, you're much more likely to experience abundance when you're in appreciation versus complaining. So it's important that we practice extreme appreciation whenever and wherever we can. There was a story I wanted to talk about. There was a time when I was working for a company named Vanguard, and Vanguard does investments. They're one of the top investment companies in the world, and I was, kind of on the lower level of the company. I was basically processing transactions. Had nothing to do with what I went to school for, and they weren't paying a lot. And so I did that job, to keep a roof over my head. And I was married at the time to my first wife, and I was really unhappy because I had gone to medical school. I was pre-med, and I really wanted to go to medical school and become a doctor. And I had run out of money. I'd kind of maxed out the amount of money that I could borrow, and so here I was working this job, had nothing to do with what I went to school for or anything like that. And I wasn't happy. I would getting up in the morning and having to like take the bus out to King of Prussia from where I lived in Philadelphia. So I'm on the bus for an hour a day each way, and it was this it was a struggle to really to get through that period of my life. But something happened, and I think I was reading Louise Hay, and she was talking about blessing things around you with love, right? And so she said that, if you're at a job that you don't like, bless that job with love, bless the people there, and, you will be moved to something better. So I said, okay, all right, I'm going to try this. So one day I went in and I conjured up a scenario where this job was like my dream job. Like this was the job that I dreamed of having, right? This processing job. And I just dreamed that, this is the job that I really wanted. And so I just conjured up this scenario in my mind that, yeah, this is it. Like, this is my dream job. And so I went into work and I just started working as if this was it. Like, this was what I went to school for. This was where I wanted to end up. And it's like the job just got so much easier. It was amazing how easy the job got. And, people were, my supervisors were saying, wow, you're really working so fast right now. And, it was just, the job just seemed like a breeze. And I went from hating the job to enjoying it. And I went from hating the commute to enjoying it because this was my dream job. Like I didn't care about the commute anymore. I didn't care about any of that. I embraced where I was. And there's something about embracing and enjoying where you are. When I lived in some pretty cool places. I lived in Virginia Beach for a number of years. I also lived in Orlando, Florida for about a year. And I didn't enjoy it because I spent so much time worrying about money, worrying about, how I was going to, move to a better place and all these other things. And, if I could go back to my younger self, I would say, you know what, just stop worrying about that stuff and just embrace where you are, enjoy where you are. Because when you're worried and anxious and all of that, you miss your mail. Like you miss those emails, you miss those deposits that God is sending out to you every day because you're so worried and so stressed about everything. So it just gets, it gets to be such a drain of your energy because, there's so much to enjoy, there's so much to embrace. But if you're spending so much time worried and anxious and angry and envious, you're not appreciating. And if you're not appreciating, then you're not ascending, right, to where all the good stuff truly is. And it's not just about stuff. It's not just about having money, even though money is a part of it. It's not just about having things, even though things are a part of it. It's about enjoying them as well. Okay? You don't want to have a car and money and a house and a person that you only dreamed about years ago and not be able to enjoy any of it. Okay? The gift isn't just having it. The gift is being able to enjoy it. And so what I would suggest is enjoy what you have now. Okay? Just enjoy it. Embrace where you are. Embrace the place where you are. Embrace the situation that you're in. Because what often happens is there's so much more than what you have. Like, there's so much more to life, and there's so many more things that you can have and do and experience. But you won't experience any of it if you are just always upset, always envious, always saying, well, that person's got a nicer car, that person's got a bigger house, that person's got a prettier wife or a richer husband, and here I am with my this is just my lot in life, and that type of attitude will keep you out of all of your good. What I would suggest is taking real inventory of where you are. And I'm not saying don't improve. I'm not saying don't work on yourself. I'm not saying don't develop yourself. Because I think personal development has its place. That's kind of the business I'm in anyway. But really embracing the stuff that you got now, like really just being happy with where you are now. And there's something about really embracing where you are and being happy with what you have and where you are, and just taking appreciation of everything around you. When you ascend, when you appreciate, you ascend. And when you ascend, you encounter things that you probably haven't seen before. Okay? When you appreciate things, you see a different aspect of things that perhaps you didn't see because, you're looking with different eyes. And I always, I'm always amazed at the new aspects of things that you see when you look closely or when you look at them differently. So, my challenge to you, today, this week, is to start practicing extreme appreciation. Just go all out. Now, some people might think you're going to be a little weird, but that's okay. I mean, some people might think I'm weird anyway. That's fine. I'll take that. I'll accept that because, for me, I think it's the key to really enjoying life the way that it was meant to be enjoyed. I think life was meant to be enjoyed. Life was meant to be embraced, and the way you enjoy it and you embrace it is you start appreciating the little things. Appreciate the smile that an employee gives you when you go into the store. Appreciate if someone helps you with your bags. Appreciate that. Appreciate the fact that you can go to a store and just buy what you need, and appreciate that you don't have to climb a tree and get that orange. Or you can just go to the store and get that orange and walk out, after paying for it. And, appreciate the internet, and appreciate being able to, connect with people that you may never meet in person, but, you're able to connect with them because of this thing called the internet, because of social media. And, I know there's a lot of negativity on social media, that, there's a lot of trolls and things like that. But when you appreciate, and when you learn to appreciate, and you learn to ascend, you will encounter less trolls because they're not in the same vibration that you are. Okay, some of these people, their whole job is to make other people miserable. Okay, so the more you appreciate, the less you run into those types of people, which is an added benefit. And, you can, pray for them and pray that they become enlightened and, they learn to have a greater purpose in life than their current one. But for you, just really practice that appreciation level, and you will find that life becomes a lot more richer, a lot more enjoying, and a lot more enjoyable. And you will also, in my opinion, experience greater abundance in your life. So I want to thank you for listening. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this podcast. I hope it was helpful to you. I hope that it helps you in some way. If it does help you in some way, listen over and over again. And also, please share. Share with friends, share with loved ones, and hopefully that they get something out of it as well. My name is Martin Williams. Again, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. I forgot to say that at the beginning. Subscribe to the podcast at Apple Podcasts, also SoundCloud and YouTube, and Spotify as well. And also don't forget that the Blueprint Live is coming. And when I have a firm date, I will let you know. And I hope to see you there. And until then, thank you. God bless.